Hello everyone, this is Nick71 and today we are going to talk about this lovely yellow track I designed, the Werner Uniknick. This is a LEGO Technic replica measuring 30 cm long for a scale of 1:15. It was built for the 2025 Bodywork trial track competition, which took place in Slovenia, where the diameter of the wheel was specified to 81 mm. I had for a while this model to build on my to-do list, so I motivate myself to do it and compete. But why this model is special? Because the original model is. Werner is a forestry equipment manufacturer mostly known for their vehicle modification based on Unimog and MB track. In the 70s, they developed an articulated skidder based on Unimog 421, axles and cabin, while building the central articulation and the forestry equipment such as the skidding blade, winch and massive tractor wheels. They even lately developed a second version which looked more like a skidder, again with Unimog parts. About the LEGO version, it reproduced the UK60 with 4 inline fake engine, torpedo small cab with cabin protection, without tools but with its lovely red and yellow livery. Let's jump on the function. The model is motorized with power function system and a Bodywork, but you can replace the Bodywork by other controllers such as SCADA or Mulking. It is not possible to use Control Plus motor without modifying the chassis and so the wheelbase. The drive is made using 2L motor which drives 16-tooth gear to the central drive shaft, which powers the differential. Then the movement is transmitted to the portal axle made with 8 and 24-tooth gear. The differential can be swapped with bigger gear ratio with the red crown or the equivalent without, as I did on the Bodywork event to maximize the traction over the maneuverability. A small trick for the portal hub, I use this assembly composed of 2 thin L-lift arms and axle which prevent the axle to pop out with torque, as it is only attached on the other side in the differential, so by a small bevel gear. The portal hub enables to increase the ground clearance, but also reduce the needed torque on the central drive shaft to relieve the tension on the universal joint. Especially here, as the drive shaft crosses the central articulation, so when the model is stuck and the motor force at full torque, the tipping torque tends to rotate the central articulation and so the chassis rotates, which can lead to a tipping over. So, less torque on the drive shaft is better for the axle wrapping. As usual, it's better to concentrate the gear reduction near the wheel with spur gearing, if possible, as it reduces the torque on the previous element like the universal joint or bevel gearing. On the front of the model, the central drive shaft drives the fake engine using spur gear 2. It enables to disconnect and remove it easily. For the build, it is inspired by the solution used on my Nissan Skyline, where I released the free instruction for the engine collection by the way. Let's move to the front for the steering mechanism. It is driven by a M motor placed in the cabin, which drives spur gear to split the movement on both sides, which power linear actuators. The end-stop clutches are made using the internal clutch from the linear actuators, which work fine, but I hate this sound. The difficulty here was the half stud offset. Indeed, to maximize the steering angle, I had to use the full travel of the linear actuator, which is 5 stud. So, the center had to be positioned at 2.5 stud on the chassis off the grid. For that, this time I did not use half stud connector, but thin lead arm on the axle extension of the portal hub. And on the chassis, this assembly with regular connector and half bushes on pins. Consequently, you can see that the spur gearing is off-grid from underneath, with the center and the outer axle not being aligned, which do not cause any problem of functioning as long as the axles are braced correctly. You can see here that I use a small bar to secure the top bearing as a regular axle which touch the gear. I use also red idler gear whenever possible to reduce the friction in case of misalignment, especially under load. The return to steering was a bit complicated to do. At first, I just connected the left linear actuator to the steering column using a rubber band, but the speed and the angle make it pop out sometime. So, I reworked it with gearing, which gives the opportunity to decrease a bit the speed of the steering wheel, still too fast with 8 turns instead of 5 from left to right. Before getting to the winch, let's talk a bit about the suspension. As you can see, the model do not have regular springs on the axle as on the Unimog. The axles are bolted on the chassis and the axle articulation is made on the central articulation. This is a pretty common setup in a forestry vehicle as it makes the chassis align with the wheel for the work with tool and enable the bigger wheel with lower center of gravity, but come with some drawbacks. The ground clearance is usually lower, but more importantly, the axle articulation must be controlled, especially here as the drive shaft crosses the central articulation as discussed before. Indeed, during the axle articulation, from the ground or from the tipping torque, the weight of the cabin is pushed away from the center, so it is more sensible in side slope. Consequently, the weight has to be concentrated in the chassis as lower as possible and the axle articulation limited in angle. On my model, the axle articulation is made with a small turntable mounted after the steering plate. As the turntable has some play, I added a link on the top which acts as a reinforcement to prevent the joint to collapse too much, but also as an angle limiter. As the length of the rod is fixed and the mounting point higher than the central articulation, it will naturally block the articulation at a certain angle. For the weight, I try to minimize the cab weight as possible and place the motor in the chassis where I could. The buoy is placed on the back to compensate the weight of the cab. With this setup, the maximum side slope is about 45 degrees, but very sensible for axle wrapping. Let's finish with the winch. It is powered by a M motor, which drives a worm gear over 8-tooth gear to get the low speed, high torque and irreversibility, even if the worm gear loses easily half of the power in friction. It is more decorative than very effective in trialter competition. As the speed is low, it usually takes too much time to unwind, attach, wind, detach than taking a replacement penalty. To finish with the function, a word about the manual version. On request, I have designed a manual version of it after the release of the motorized version, so I simply removed the drive and steering motor and placed a hand of God instead. It was the easier solution as I wanted the model was upgradable from both versions, so you can build the manual version, add the motor later without adding spare part or rebuilding the whole model. The steering is consequently a bit slow but still playable or for display at a cheaper cost. The biggest change was on the winch, which is now equipped with a ratchet with two positions, one to unwind easily and one to lock when the drum is wound by the side. The manual version is included with the motorized version in a single package as it shares 98% of the part list. Let's talk about the bodywork, not the most important thing in trail truck, but I wanted it look nice. First, obviously, the color theme is gorgeous. With yellow cab and red chassis, it contributes a lot of the visual identity of the model. The cabin was not easy to do because the Unimog cab has round front side and curved hood. For the front, I used a combination of axle joiner and macaroni tube for the side. I hesitated a long time to stack 3 of them, but I thought it didn't look great. So I tried with curved brick, but the radius was not good. So I came up with this hybrid solution with 2 macaroni tubes and 1 curved brick, which gave the correct shape with a bit of texture. For the hood, it is massively composed of curved steel to get the proper shape and is fixed with angle of the cabin with small beams. It can be open but not that much, so easier to remove by removing the 2 axles with stop. The additional lights are usually attached on the side of the windscreen, but here I found it too bulky, so I fixed it internally on the hood on an angle till assembly. The angle of the side underneath the hood was also tricky to find as it has to fill the gap correctly to look nice. So I came up with this solution using this slope with the cheese slope and the transparent orange sprinkler between, without pushing it to the max. Do you say illegal? Yeah, maybe. The last noticeable element are the mudguard, composed of soft axle with 3 L beams. In fact, I used this solution for the first time of my LMP1 design in 2015. Then reused a lot in several Citroën cars. And to finish, here is what it looked like without the tubular protection on the cabin. It looked nice. I think I will modify and reuse the cab to make a proper Unimog with a new chassis. So, if you like Unimog, stay tuned. If you're interested by the model, the instruction or the upcoming kits, please check the link in the description. I hope you like this model. It was very interesting to make, even if it was beaten by more classic and powerful model at the Bewiz event. It was a very good challenge to offer something different at this event with articulated truck, and for sure I will be come back this year. Take care, play well, bye.